Hey, um, so this week's topic is about social media and our and its like relation to us being trans and stuff. So as far as social media goes, like Tumblr is really like the main source of like what helped me with my trans identity. Up until I started using Tumblr for like social justice issues stuff. Like before I was just using it for fandom related things, reblogging pictures of cute girls. And then every now and then like a social justice thing would pop up, and then I'd go to the main blog of that, and just sort of snowballed from there. That's how I learned about all the different like gender identities and stuff, because before that all I knew about being trans was like being born in the wrong body and knowing since you were young. And when I'd look up stuff about being trans, I'd ask myself, am I trans? And it's like, no, you're not, because this is the narrative and you don't fit this story, so that's definitely not you. And I just felt really bad. Like I felt like a bad person because I kept looking up stuff about being trans, and I'm like, because I'm not trans, so I feel like I'm just fetishizing being trans, and I was too curious about it because I wasn't trans. So it was like, why do you keep looking up all this stuff? You're not trans. When I started using Tumblr for like social justice stuff, that was like my first year of university, and I was in Toronto. I'd moved from Windsor, and I was like exploring being openly queer. So I was able to go into the men's section and buy clothes because I wasn't afraid of people reading me as gay. I'd get really happy when sometimes I put on an outfit and I think I looked like a boy. And I'm like, what is happening with me? Like, I know I like men's clothes, but like this is becoming something more. Like, on one hand, I could be happy that I might be looking like a boy, but I think, okay, do you want to be a boy? And it's like immediate no. I think that was a weird part, and I've been in situations where people thought I was a guy. I get super stressed about it, and like Tumblr really sort of helped me find the words for how I was feeling, and like talking to other people who sort of had the similar experiences, like finding the terms agender and like non-binary, like those really like helped me out. Then I found non-binary, which was just like non-binary, not of the two, and I was like, yeah, that's it. Because I remember I was out and some guy yelled at me about, I think I dropped something, and he was like, hey, girl with the yellow hat, you dropped your whatever. And my first initial reaction was like, I'm not a girl, I'm. And then I was like, crap. Literally, like, that's what happened to me. And I'm like, crap, I'm not a girl. I don't know. And then I found like non-binary, and I was like, well, I guess this is just it. And I found non-binary because like Tumblr has that, those posts where it's like, here's all these different identities. And honestly, I feel like if Tumblr didn't exist, I don't know if I would have realized, or I probably would have realized I was trans in some sense, but I don't think I probably would have found like the terminology as quickly as I did. Really wasn't like a social media person. Like I had a Twitter, but it wasn't anything. I just followed like Broadway people and funny people. Facebook was just high school people. After I left high school, I pretty much deleted everybody I knew. I remember when there was all those like fuck yeah blank groups, really. And like through going through that and people's main blogs, and then people had YouTube, and then that was another big thing because it's one thing to read people's posts about transitioning and stuff, but it's like another thing completely to actually seeing like actual people, actual trans people, you know, talking about it. And finding non-binary people on on YouTube, or agender people on YouTube, was difficult, still pretty difficult. But I was like finding, sometimes I'd find people who was like, oh, I'm only taking tea for a year, or I stopped tea, so I could like see people's descriptions of like how that's been, stories on the effects of taking tea just for a small amount of time, or taking a low dose of tea. I'm like super grateful for Tumblr, um, and the people that I met on Tumblr. Tumblr was like the language that I needed, and then like YouTube let me like see into people's lives. That's all I gotta say about it. Bye.